Lawrence McDougall is our CEO. He will present to you our statement. Joining him today is Patrick Sitole. He is the Chief Officer for Supply Chain. And we've got Mary Jane Murithi. She's the Chief Officer for Corporate Affairs and Sustainability. We will also take questions after the interviews. So we will take questions with you. So please, we will do this in a coordinated way. Please raise your hands. We will take a couple of questions, and then Lawrence and Mary Jane and Patrick will answer your questions. So that I hand over to our CEO, Lawrence McDougall.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. As Nabashi said, my name is Lawrence McDougall. I am the CEO of Tiger Brands, of which Enterprise is one of our divisions. Firstly, thank you for making yourself available at such short notice, and I just wanted to thank you for that, and also just to say to you that it's in the interests of openness and transparency that we wanted to meet with you at short notice. And we understand, after the announcement on Sunday, it's only a few days, but we felt it's essential to provide you with a platform whereby you can ask us a few questions and we can give you some update. At the outset, I think it's important to state that we fully acknowledge that we're dealing with a very, very serious issue that pertains to people's health and the well-being of our population in South Africa. And we want to provide you with the assurance that we're dealing with this matter with the utmost urgency and priority within our business. Any loss of life is tragic. And in South Africa, as South African citizens, as family members, and as a father in the community, we are all concerned about the outbreak of Listeriosis in our country. And as the CEO of Tiger Brands, it is devastating for me to have our products linked to this outbreak. Food safety remains our utmost priority at Enterprise Foods, and we'll talk specifically about Enterprise Foods today, where we place consumers' health and safety above all else. Therefore, we've taken immediate action and corrective steps with all the recent developments. And I would like to share some of those developments with you this afternoon so that you're fully aware of what we've been dealing with. So let me start by sharing with you how things have evolved. There's been a lot of concerns and questions asked about the actions Enterprise Foods has taken since the detection of Listeria in sample products on the 14th of February. I can assure you that the commitment to this process has been solid and want to clearly define the steps that we have taken since this detection. The outbreak was confirmed in December, if you remember, by the Department of Health, and a request to the industry by the DG of Health in December, as you remember, was we've amplified our testing for Listeria of both raw materials, finished goods, and introduced additional testing of our processes. Equipment, storage, waste areas have all been covered at the facilities where we process meats. This is over and above our general rigorous processes and strict controls that are in place. To give you some insight, Enterprise Foods follows stringent protocols for the manufacture of quality food products. This includes monitoring and testing for the detection and management of pathogens, viruses, and bacteria, including Listeria. Our protocols are based on SANS 885 guideline and retailer specifications, amongst others. At the Enterprise Foods facility, we have fully certified food safety management system in place, which is certified by an external independent international certification body, DQS. Furthermore, we have our own microlaboratories on site and make extensive use of external SANUS accredited microlaboratories for verification and product testing. Now let me share with you some of the timeline of how things have evolved over the recent time. On the 2nd of February, a delegation of officials from the National Department of Health local and provincial Department of Health officials, and the NICD, including international members from the World Health Organization, visited our Polokwane factory as part of an industry-wide visit to manufacturing facilities. The delegation took over 400 environmental swabs in the factory, as well as 9 product samples produced at the facility, obviously. At the same time, we replicated the sampling on the 3rd of February, and all these results came back negative for our products. Given our amplified testing, we subsequently detected low levels of Listeria in our product. And I just want to emphasize low levels. This was on the 14th of February. We took immediate precautionary measures, which included immediately halting production of the affected product, quarantine all affected product that we had within our distribution center, and withdrawing all of the affected product batch manufactured on that certain date from the trade. We also introduced new measures to further improve any area of our facility where there could have been surface contamination, like in cooling baths that are used to cool off the polony after it is manufactured. We also heightened our testing to every hour of every product produced, and also enhanced our environmental cleaning regime. Samples were all sent for further DNA testing to determine the strain of the bacteria as well. Critically, we immediately reached out to the delegation that visited our Polokwane facility on the 2nd of February, as Enterprise had committed to sharing any information on Listeria, and as had been requested, as I mentioned earlier. So on the 23rd of February, we met with the National Department of Health and the NICD to share with them our findings and corrective measures that we had instituted post the visit and past our findings. Furthermore, given the heightened awareness around listeriosis, we also committed to immediately withdrawing any product that had a positive detection for Listeria, even at the very low levels of less than 10 CFUs. They informed us that the Capricorn municipality would share the results of the testing done on the 2nd of February. So they made that commitment to us. At the meeting with the municipality, which was then held on the 27th of February, we were informed that approximately 40% of the environmental swabs came back positive for Listeria detection. It is important to note that no products had any positive detection for Listeria. The municipality was satisfied with the level of rigor and the outcomes of our subsequent test results. So let's fast forward then to the Minister's announcement on Sunday. The National Department of Health announced that they would be undertaking a press conference to announce the source or sources of Listeria, as you would all be aware. We received that communication the same time as you did. At 12:35, we received a notification order from the NCC just prior to the Minister's briefing to conduct a national recall of 3 products: Enterprise Frankfurters, Enterprise Smoked Russians, and Enterprise Polony. We are obviously deeply concerned about the detection of Listeria in certain Enterprise ready-to-eat chilled processed meat products, and are dealing with the issue with utmost urgency and the highest levels within the organization. As a consumer-conscious organization, we are being extra vigilant and cautious where consumer safety remains our highest priority, and therefore immediate action was taken, and I'd like to share some of that immediate action with you. We immediately suspended operations at both Enterprise manufacturing facilities, both in Polokwane and in Germiston. We halted all supplies to retailers. We've set up a consumer helpline. We're engaging with customers, and we've already engaged with most of them, retailers to ensure that we are able to provide them with the support they require to remove the products from their shelves as a matter of priority. And we will continue undertaking enhanced deep cleaning protocols in all of our facilities. We'll continue to work closely with the authorities, including the NCC, to conduct the national recall. Our immediate focus is to ensure that the recall is conducted swiftly. While there have only been 3 products, and I remind you 3 products that the DOH have requested us to recall, as a consumer conscious organization, we are being extra vigilant and cautious, and we are withdrawing all products produced out of those 2 facilities, way ahead of any expectation from the DOH. So we have taken the decision to conduct a voluntary recall of all the enterprise ready-to-eat chilled meat products. Just to repeat that. Voluntary recall of all enterprise ready-to-meat chilled products. We confirm that any consumers who have brought and still have these products will be refunded on returning these products to their place of purchase. These new measures are intended to mitigate any further risks and are a demonstration of our absolute commitment to the health and safety of our consumers and to zero tolerance of any potential health risk in our food production processes. As we conclude, once again, any loss of life is tragic. We are all very concerned about the outbreak of listeriosis in our country, and as CEO of Tiger Brands, it is devastating that our products have been linked to this outbreak. The public concern, anger in some cases, and uncertainty around this disease is completely understandable. And therefore, we want to reassure you, the public, that we are doing everything we can. We are leaving no stone unturned, and we are working tirelessly to ensure that we get to the bottom of the cause and detection of this outbreak. We have brought in independent experts on listeriosis to work with us and provide scientific expertise that will be required to get to the bottom of this going forward. We are fully committed to partnering with government, as we have thus far, and to continue engaging with other experts on listeria. We need to support the eradication of listeria in South Africa and be an integral party to this. We have acted swiftly. We've observed high standards of quality assurance, and we will do what must be done to minimize the risk and prevent the outbreak of going any further. So we just want to give you that assurance. We have acted way ahead of any expectations of the DOH, and will commit to you that we will continue to do so to protect the health and safety of our consumers as we move forward with the detection and eradication of listeria in South Africa. Okay, thank you.
So let me help coordinate questions. We're going to take 3 questions, Lawrence. Will that be okay? And then you answer all 3?
As you wish, depending on the quality of the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Tembekile, this young lady here, and that young lady in that corner.
Tembekile from ENCA, is the mic on?
Yes.
You've laid out quite a timeline of what's happened from the 2nd of Feb to where we are now. But according to the minister yesterday, the listeriosis outbreak can be traced as far back as January last year. And one is wondering, if you're saying you found such low levels of listeria in your samples on the 2nd of February, what were the levels same period last year, for instance, if you say through the very rigorous processes which you say you have in place? Why did you not find it earlier? Also, 180 people, we're told, have now died. Listening to you speak about how low the levels of listeria are that you found, one is wondering if you take any responsibility at all for the deaths, or are you saying that it wasn't your products that led to these fatalities?
Yeah, so we've acted with speed and urgency wherever we've had feedback from the Department of Health, from the DTI, or from the NCC, and we've done that repeatedly over the months. It was only in December that the awareness was raised to the level that it is at now, and therefore we've started engaging at that level. Our products have continually tested below the 10 CFUs, and therefore not all products that have detection are harmful to consumers. So that is why we've acted as we have. Since the Department of Health, the DTI, and the NCC have raised the awareness, we have taken the precautions to start detecting to watch for zero detection of listeriosis in our product. Therefore, the testing regimes have been upweighted significantly. We have not received the results from the government yet. So, we're acting without that information. So we don't know what it is. But we are taking precautions to protect the consumer. And we will continue to do that, even although we don't have all the results with us at the moment.
So today, on the 5th of March, you take no responsibility for those who died?
There is no direct link with the deaths to our products that we're aware of at this point. Nothing.
Hi, it's Candy Mapanga from ANN7. You spoke quite extensively about you working together with the Department of Health on
Yes.
the testing. So I'm quite curious as to why you weren't part of this big announcement that was made yesterday about your products. Do you feel that you were blindsided? And also on the question of liability, I know you said that at this point you don't feel responsible for the number of deaths, but are you going to compensate the families that have lost their loved ones directly due to this outbreak?
So, as I said to you, we were advised when you were about the announcement. I suppose you would have to ask the NCC and the DOH about why we weren't involved.
And your response directly as to why you weren't included in this?
We don't know why we weren't included, so I can't speculate why we weren't included. And just going back to the previous answer, there's been no direct correlation between our products and the deaths yet. So we are unaware of any direct link.
So there's no possibility of compensation for families that lost their
As I
loved
said,
ones?
there's no direct link between any of the deaths and our product.
Hi, Sinigiwe Tachaneni from The Citizen. The first one is two-pronged and the other one is pretty simple. Okay. So the first one is with regards to information we've received that the facility in Polokwane was observed to have been below standard in terms of just general hygiene. If you could maybe respond to that, and maybe if there are rumors that there's something wrong with the health standards in that facility, if you could call those rumors now. And then secondly, on the same question, is anybody going to have to take responsibility within your company for the failings in the health standards at that facility as well as the one in Germiston? And then the second question pertains to your export market. Will you be recalling products that you have allocated for exporting? I've just heard Mozambique, for instance, has banned imports into their country from Canada.
We do not support any allegations of lowered quality regimes or testing. All of our results and tests and results indicate that we kept a very high standard of quality protocols within those sites. The expectations going forward is that those standards are significantly increased if there's going to be a zero detection of listeria going forward, including in the environment. So there were some allegations yesterday made publicly. We were unaware of those. As I said to you, when we met with the government a few weeks ago, they were very pleased with the progress we've made. Yes, the increased protocols had been discussed and we implemented those straight away. But they were over and above what had previously been the protocols for quality and safety, which were defined by European standard. Okay. The last bit on exports, yes, we will. We're following that through. Obviously, it's only been a few hours, so we're busy tracing those, and we'll be liaising with the regulators within those geographies where our product might show up to actually withdraw that. So, whether they are South Africans or foreigners, they're just as important to us. They're consumers, and we care about them just as much.
Hi, my name is Maluk Yelopwe from ENCA. Sir, you have to explain to us what kind of link do you need for the company to take responsibility for the deaths of these 181 individuals? Please tell us explain the kind of link that you need for the company to be able to take that responsibility. 2, can we talk about the financial implications of this recall? The third question that I have, I mean, sir, let's face it, they found this bacteria in one of your factories. Your health and safety measures, clearly they failed here. Can you concede to that at least? Thank you.
Okay, 2 things. I cannot guess as to what the link might be. All I can confirm is at the moment there is no link. So I can't guess what those links might be in the future. So there are no links to our products directly to the deaths of those individuals. As to the quality regime, I confirm again, we've shared our quality testing and we will say that the European standard. So, and I think you need to understand that Listeria is present in the environment in most places in South Africa. And I think that's been confirmed by many press reports, some of which you have released as well, to inform consumers and educate them as to Listeria in the environment. So, you know, while we are not saying that we can't get better, we think we can, and we've increased our protocols with advice from the government and the Department of Health. We've increased the testing protocols. But were our quality protocols any worse than they were a year ago? No, they were not. No, they were not.
All right, if I could take you, and you, and then
Lily Donnelly from the Mail and Guardian. In the press briefing yesterday, the government was very clear that the ST6 strand of the virus had been traced back to your Polokwane plant, and that is directly linked to this outbreak. You said in your press briefing yesterday, or in your press statement yesterday, that your own tests had not yet indicated the presence of ST6, but that you were awaiting the results today. So can you tell us if your own tests have confirmed the presence of ST6 in your Polokwane plant? And then equally, the health department said that the ST6 strand had not been confirmed at Germiston, but that the presence of Listeria was there. Have you done any testing to test for specifically the ST6 strand? Yeah.
So, yes, the government did confirm that the ST6 strain was linked to the outbreak. I cannot remember they had any linkage to the deaths. And to be clear, we have not found ST6 in our Germiston manufacturing facility. We've received none of our own tests back yet. So we're only acting on the information we got from the government. We've not received an official document from them yet. So you can understand we're acting way in advance of anything we might receive. So, and we also can't suppose what the information they provide us might say. So at this stage, you know, we're acting on information that I've told you. It was one notice of withdrawal of 3 products, and that's all. And we've gone way beyond that, to close the 2 facilities, to stop production, to withdraw everything out of the market in the sake of consumer interest. So we've gone way beyond what the Department of Health or the NCC is asking us to do, in light of the fact that, you know, the consumer is so important to us.
Hi, Angelo Coppola from China Global Television. I want to pick up because you didn't seem to answer the question on the financial implications.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Can you quantify exactly what your risk assessment says to you that it's going to cost you to keep the plant closed, plants closed per day, so we can do a calculation for the term that it's closed for?
Yeah.
That includes the international side. How are you going to recall the goods that are sitting in Zambia, Mozambique, Lesotho, Botswana, Angola, and Namibia? How is that going to happen, and who's paying for that?
Yeah. So we're busy with the financial estimation of what it might cost us. We haven't got those numbers yet. as I said to you, we had this briefing as early as possible so we could really engage with you. We haven't got to that detail yet, and we didn't want to wait to have a press conference until we had everything. So unfortunately, we don't have the number yet for you to do that. The cost of the withdrawal out of all of the market is at our expense.
Including the international?
Yes, it is. Remember, international is just the adjacencies. It doesn't go international. It's within SADC mostly. So yes, it's for our expense. But unfortunately, I can't give you the financial implications yet. We're still busy with that.
Sonic is from Network 24 and Bjelt, just from Tiger Brand's side, how are you going to get consumer trust back after this incident? What are your plans for that?
We haven't applied our mind to that right now. Our first priority is to protect the consumer and make sure we get the product that is potentially contaminated back into our hands and out of the hands of the consumer before it's consumed. So we've taken, we think, really big steps to make sure that that happens on product that might not be affected. But we think it's the right thing to do right now. But we're not at the stage yet to even contemplate that. Right now we are thinking about the consumers, their health and their safety. That's our immediate priority, not the re-establishment of the brand at this point.
The lady from SABC TV. As soon as you detected that there was listeria in some of your products, why did you not be proactive and do something about it, like recall those products, instead of waiting for something bad to happen first?
Yeah, so we actually did. We actually have done that. So where we did detect it, we did have a recall out of the market. So we have done that already. So we haven't waited. We feel we've been quite proactive, not only with what we've done in our factories, but with the engagement with the government and the regulators at the same time.
Any more? All right, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay.
Hi, Nikki again. Right, I don't know, at the risk of being a bit forward, I would like to know if any individuals or companies have approached you at this time with the intention to file a civil suit with regards to having either lost money or health through this outbreak. And secondly, there have been reports that there was, what is it? There was white slime. Apparently, one of the sources of the listeria outbreak was white slime that is used in your products. So I don't know if you've picked up anything about that, or if you have any knowledge of that.
So firstly, I'm not aware of any civil suits at all. White slime, I've never heard that phrase, to be honest. Maybe Patrick, who's our supply chain executive. Patrick, have you heard anything like that?
I just want to explain what it is. It's apparently a substance that's made out of some form of chicken, like some part of a chicken, and then they melt it down.
Okay, it's not white slime.
No, it's not white slime. It's what is called mechanically deboned chicken. So it's part of the ingredients that you put and you make to make the product. It's imported out of Europe, and some of it we import out of Brazil. There's not enough supply coming out of South Africa.
I think SABC actually showed a very good educational on that last night, actually.
So we've established that you don't take responsibility. There's no direct link, you're saying, between the deaths and your product. But will you pay the medical bills of people who come to you and say, I took ill after eating one of your products? Secondly, there are people who are watching this briefing right now who are expecting an apology from you as a company. A, for all the people who've taken ill, even those who died, even though you say you don't take responsibility for that, and the panic that started yesterday. Why haven't we heard the words, I'm sorry, from you? for any of what's happened so far? Because you say, yes, we take the health of South Africans seriously, but we're not getting an apology out of you. Why is that?
So let me reiterate. We've had no direct link yet through the information that we've received between our products and any of the health risks. If any consumer believes that from eating our products they have fallen ill, they must just let us know, and when they provide us with the details of that, we'll look into it as we would. So we are not denying that they might have got ill, but whether it was actually linked to our product or not, let's have that conversation. So I can't apologize for something that I'm not clear on yet. If we receive more information and we are directly linked, I will quite openly have a conversation with you. As I said, we are as serious about this as anybody else in South Africa. There is no reason at all, as a father and as a member of the community, that I would not take this seriously. Listeria in South Africa is a serious thing, and we're going to work with the government and work with the regulators to eradicate this as best we can, particularly in manufacturing facilities where we can control it.
Right, thank you. My name is Belane Pahani from Eyewitness News. Are you saying that government has not done intensive work in terms of linking your company with the outbreak? Because if you are saying that there is no direct link to the deaths, that means that the government then did not do its research to say your company has intensive, or should I say a lot of this bacteria sourcing all the way down to Polokwane. Thank you.
No, to be clear, I've not said that there's not a link. They provided the link yesterday in their update. We have not seen evidence of that link, so we've not received the details from them. So no, I'm not refuting what they said at all. They said they have a link, that ST6 is linked to the outbreak of the strain, and we found the ST6 strain on our site. So I'm not in any way saying it's not linked. We have not seen that information. We've not seen that information, and if they have it, then we must trust them. They wouldn't have made a statement if they didn't have the evidence.
Okay, any more questions? 1, 2, 3.
Mr. McDougall, if you are not going to take responsibility as Tiger Brands, who do you think should be held accountable for these 180 deaths? And then I also need clarity for the public. How often do you test these cold meat products? It is being reported, and you can correct this if it's wrong, that you knew of the bacteria in your products from the 14th of Feb and that you chose to place profit over human lives.
So firstly, I have told you we've had no evidence of any link. The government has told us there's a link between ST6 and the outbreak of the strain, and we found evidence on our site of ST6. That's the only link that exists at the moment, not more than that.
So in your view, who should be held accountable?
I don't know for what, and the link, there is no link yet. So as soon as there's evidence, and as soon as we have unrefutable evidence of with a link, then we'll have that discussion. But at the moment, we don't have that. So you're asking for something that we don't have. And I suppose that's one of the risks of being open and transparent and sharing very, very quickly where we are, is that we don't have all the answers yet. But we want to show you that we have a path to resolution. We're working with the government, we're working with the regulators to be able to get to that point.
Would you have even addressed the public had the Department of Health and the Minister not made this large announcement yesterday?
If we'd received evidence from them that we had this information, yes, we would have. There's no reason why we shouldn't have. And if we were going to go out, remember they asked us to withdraw 3 products, right? We've done a full recall. We've closed both the facilities. And if we were going to do that, as we would have with that information, of course we would have to talk to the public, or else we couldn't do the recall. So, we've been fully open and transparent about this, and we want to share as much as we can to get resolve and resolution of this thing as soon as possible.
Nomsa Zwane, Power FM News. I understand that you have not yet received any legal complaints from the public or the big retailers, but should that happen, is the company ready? Is Tiger Brands ready to deal with the legal consequences?
We are preparing for that. We're not ready right now. As we said, this thing has unfolded over the last few hours. We will be ready, obviously.
Lily again. You said that you had, once you've discovered Listeriosis, in your tests you had recalled a few products. I take it this was after the 14th of February. Can you tell us just what those products were exactly? And the recall seems to have happened rather quietly. I'm not aware that you made any public statements recalling the items, so could you just clarify what happened there? And then, how much meat do these plants produce in a day? Can you tell us how much tons you are tuning out of Enterprise Germiston and Enterprise Polokwane? Yeah, that's it.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, there is one more question. Just in terms of your distribution network and your distribution chain, you've said that you're fully going to offer customers a refund, but how does it work? I mean, are you supplying directly to retailers? Then is it wholesalers? I mean, there's people that buy from your factory directly, individuals. Yeah, so if you could just clarify how the distribution chain is laid out and who, at what point refunds are going to be happening.
Okay. Do you want to take the refunds? Yeah. The tons. I think the total market is about 240,000 tons of processed cold meats in South Africa. We have a 25% share of that. So we do about 60,000 tons a year of processed cold meats.
From both?
Yeah. That's total market and total production, yeah. Patrick, do you want to address the recalls?
So the detection of Listeria was in Milikip Poloni that we have withdrawn from all the trade. Most of it was detected just post the release into the trade, and we brought all of that back from the trade, from our distribution network. In addition to the steps that we have taken, is that normally is that you build in your controls during manufacturing, and if all the critical control points are in check, you release the products. But we put in an extra step that we don't release any product until all the microbiological checks have been done, and therefore all the products that has been released into the trade since then have been free of any Listeria.
And despite that, we're doing the full recall. So despite the fact that there's a positive release, we've decided that we're still going to do the full recall of all the products. Do you want to talk through the distribution, Mary Jane?
I think it's Patrick.
Okay, let me
maybe
address
one of the things that I might add is that we need to recognize that the norm level of Listeria detection in food is less than 100 CFUs. The detection that we had was less than 10 CFUs. So the standard says it's 100. We detected at 10. We then contacted the Department of Health and NICD to say, because of this heightened focus on Listeria, any detection we wanted to engage on the back of the letter that was written to industry by the DG of Health.
And then the last question was the distribution chain. So we're working with our customers. Most of the product goes through modern trade. A very small part of it goes then through the wholesalers to the smaller convenience stores. And obviously we would have to then go through radio and a local press to talk to consumers and those smaller retailers. That would be the only way we can actually actively engage. Notifying the wholesalers, putting up notices, and then going into radio and press so that people can read it in the sort of regional and local press as well.
10% comes through our factory stores.
Yeah.
So those can be brought back into our factories.
I think this question was asked, but I didn't hear the answer for it. How often do you guys test your products. But also I'm interested in hearing how often do you guys get visits from government health inspectors in your factories? That's also going to help us a lot. Have there been any employees at this Polokwane factory that have been affected by this, and how are you helping them? You're saying that the department has not actually given you this link, details about this link between your products and the deaths of these 181 people. I think we need to emphasize that there's 181 people that died here. Have you been in touch with them? Have you asked them to provide you guys with the details that you need? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, that question was asked before, so apologies for that. Do you want to address that, Patrick, in terms of how often the testing is done?
So we do test every day on all the on the products that goes out. So we've increased that to an hour for each and every product that goes out. And so that's quite an extensive test, and it takes a couple of days to go to external laboratories for tests and that to come back. So for once a day to every hour. We have not picked up any employees that have been affected or reporting that they've got any listeria symptoms. But part of the work that we'll be doing before we open any of the factories is that we've got between Germiston as well as the Polokwane factory 1,200 people who work in there, is that we're going to have to systematically go through a check of any symptoms that have been picked up. But every year we do, they go through health check, and that is occupationally related, and none of these have actually come up.
In terms of government health inspectors, whether they're from local municipality, provincial government, and national government, they also have a responsibility to carry out these tests. How often do they come to your facility? I think that's a very important question that as South Africans would want to know. The local municipality is supposed to have a health inspector. Do they visit? Please tell us if they visit your facility.
So we have received certificates to operate from them, from their local inspectors. So we have done that. The exact number of times that they visited us, unfortunately, we don't have. But we do have the certificate to operate, which are issued by the local health inspector through the local municipalities. So we wouldn't be able to have that if we hadn't had those engagements. Unfortunately, we just don't have the actual number of visits that we've had. So apologies for that.
Okay, I'm just going to give you one, and then maybe you.
Hi, it's Angelo Coppola again. Can I make an assumption and put words into your mouth then? Would you say that the Department of Health and the Minister of Health have overreacted with the statements that they made yesterday? And if you believe so, what are you going to do next?
I don't think there can ever be an overreaction with the seriousness of what we're dealing with. So no. Could we have had greater collaboration between us? I suppose so. But I think they've acted with the immediacy and swiftness that is required with the seriousness of this situation. So, do we have everything we need now? No, we don't. But we'll get it. And we met with the NCC today. So we're moving very quickly, and the engagement has been very, very positive. So, no, I've got nothing negative to say at all about the engagement. It just needs to be very tight and very collaborative if we're going to work together to eradicate this from South Africa going forward.
Nomsazwane Parkam again. Should the company be found to be directly linked to the deaths of those people, what would the company do? Would you consider compensation maybe?
I really
for the
can't.
victims or their families?
I know you're trying to get answers, but I can't suppose what's going to happen in the future. I really can't. We're dealing with the facts that we have on the table today. We wanted to meet with you really quickly to understand and give you an opportunity to ask us questions, but I can't hypothesize about what might happen in the future. I can only deal with facts that are available to us at the moment.
Okay, I think, guys,
Can I squeeze one last? One last.
I think you've asked a lot of questions. There are other people that also have hands up. So let's just do Tim Mikila for now, and then guys, we must maybe consider.
What can I just ask that Manu does ask? Let's go to the one.
Sorry, you say again?
Can I ask that Manu does get his chance to ask?
So I didn't know that, but let's just go with Tim Mikila.
Mr. McDougall, how much time did you spend prepping with your company's lawyers before you came to address us here to make sure you craft a response that would cover you legally, given that coming into this, Tiger Brands was and still is the face of this listeriosis outbreak? How much prepping did you do legally to come here today?
Doing the right thing and saying the right thing doesn't need legal prep.
So you've not spoken to any lawyers to prep you?
No.
All right.
I'd like to find out from all of you, in fact. Did you guys have, when last did you eat these polonies? When last did you eat? When last did you have a polony or this? Or any of these products?
Polony, I'm not sure. I've had sausages and Viennas probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. Yeah.
And maybe
and what brand? And what brand? Is it
Enterprise, no doubt.
Yesterday I had pizza with chopped ham, and if you looked at my fridge right now, you will see a eaten polony, Enterprise polony. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
One last one, please.
All right. So, guys, this will be the last question. I think if you can ask a question quickly, and then we can.
Thank you. Belana Pahadi again from Eyewitness News. Now, as you were answering the questions, I also understand that you said something about pizza. Do you also understand the impact it will have on small businesses around the country who would rely on enterprise to get some of its products in order to do their quotas, some would say, in our local townships? Do you understand the seriousness of it? And I mean, because it doesn't seem like you're taking responsibility to know that small businesses out there may take a huge knock, and you are only saying that nothing has been linked to you, and it doesn't really seem like the only thing you're saying is that you will be taking just cautiousness going forward. What assurance do you have that you will have this matter dealt with as soon as possible so that businesses can also go ahead as they usually do? Thank you.
Yeah. So let me reassure you, we take this very, very seriously. I think I've said that several times. We have also put personal health and safety ahead of all else. So if you ask me if I've considered the financial impact in the industry, yes, that is a consequence of what we are doing, but I need to put the health and safety of the consumers first before that. We have also, as I said, been working very, very closely with the regulators in improving and getting our factories ready to be opened as soon as possible. And we'll work with the regulators to make sure that that happens. So we're well advanced in our plans. We're well advanced in our testing and quality protocols. And this precautionary withdrawal of all the product out of those 2 sites, as I said to you, is well ahead of the expectation that we've got from the NCC. So we think we've acted, in the way that you would expect and where the consumers would expect us to do, given the health and safety risks that exist.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I will allow one last question, particularly from somebody that we've not heard from before. But if not, I'm going to call this to a close. All right, from Tiger Brand side, you can appreciate that this is a trying time for us, and we wanted to really engage with you. There will be subsequent opportunities for us to engage, but when we have more information. as well. So when we get more information and how we're going to manage this recall, my commitment is to keep you updated along the way, and there will be opportunities for engaging our leadership down the line as well. Right, so thank you very much for coming, and
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Sorry to disturb, just a quick question. What would you tell consumers if they can't get to one of the drop-off points or one of the shops or one of the
Well, that was a live crossing to the Tiger Brands press briefing on the Listeriosis outbreak this hour from Bryanston, Northern Johannesburg. You've just heard their CEO, that's Lawrence McDougall, very much in the hot seat this afternoon, saying the loss of life in this outbreak is indeed tragic and regrettable, and they are dealing with the issue with the utmost urgency and seriousness. But I do detect a hint of evasiveness there, Peter, when he says there's no direct link proven yet. This may indeed be true.
All right, so the crux of the matter is, yesterday, the Minister of Health says that they found the source of the Listeriosis outbreak, and their two factories, one in Germiston and one in Polokwane, were identified. They've come out today saying that we've done tests for a long period of time. We found negligible levels of listeria. He says that listeria occurs in the environment, but as of today, they cannot find any direct link between their products and the deaths of the people who've died so far. So I guess what's going to happen in the next days is they want to see the information that the Department of Health has produced to point to the Tiger Brands' factories and make that link. And until then, the company is almost taking a position saying that, look, until we have proof, we can't say for sure that our products are the ones that are responsible for this.
Well, the reality is that these products that have been identified are so much of a part of South Africa's street food culture and eaten widely by the poor and working class. So hopefully when this investigation is indeed completed and all the evidence is in, we'll see some amends being made to families of loved ones who have been affected. On that note, let's move on to some other news. Well, food processing company Tiger Brands has given the assurance that it's dealing with the outbreak of listeriosis with the urgency that it deserves. The company's CEO, Lawrence McDougall, addressed the media in Johannesburg this hour after Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi announced that this outbreak was traced to 3 of the company's outlets in Limpopo, Gauteng and the Free State.
Taken immediate action and corrective steps with all the recent developments. And I would like to share some of those developments with you this afternoon so that you're fully aware of what we've been dealing with. So let me start by sharing with you how things have evolved. There's been a lot of concerns and questions asked about the actions Enterprise Foods has taken since the detection of listeria in sample products on the 14th of February. I can assure you that the commitment to this process has been solid and want to clearly define the steps that we have taken since this detection. The outbreak was confirmed in December, if you remember, by the Department of Health, and a request to the industry by the DG of Health in December, as you remember, was we've amplified our testing for listeria of both raw materials, finished goods, and introduced additional testing of our processes. Equipment, storage, waste areas have all been covered at the facilities where we process meats. This is over and above our general rigorous processes and strict controls that are in place.